Hey everyone, this is Russell Brunson again, and I want to welcome you back to part number 2 of my interview with the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Tony Robbins. If you haven't watched the first part of the interview yet, go back up in the playlist and watch that one first, because you don't want to not watch that before you get to part number 2. Now, to part number 2, I'm excited for you, because in here, we start diving deeper into the different types of businesses. And I go through 2 types of businesses. I call them 2 expert businesses. One of them is where you become an expert selling your own products. Like, I was a potato gun expert. Tony Robbins is the personal development expert, right? So there's that type of business. But the other side of it, which a lot of people don't know about, is let's say you already have a business. You're selling physical products on Amazon or e-commerce things, or you're you have a gym, or maybe you are a chiropractor, or dentist, or financial planner. Like, if you have an existing business, you can also apply the expert strategies that Tony and I are going to talk about next into your business. Now, on top of that, you're going to learn a whole bunch of other things, like how do you create a tribe of people? What are the 3 commonalities in every single tribe, every mass movement that's ever been started from the beginning of time till now? What is a new opportunity? How do you create one? And a whole bunch of other amazing things that you are going to love. So with that said, let's jump into part 2 of the interview with Tony Robbins.
Now, in your book, you talk about the 2 types of kind of expert businesses. For the people who don't want to be an expert also, but just want to grow their company, how would this work for them as well? So maybe you can give us those differentiations so people have an understanding of how to kind of look at this.
Yeah, definitely. So the first kind of expert business is one I think people are familiar with is, I look at you like you are the king of this, right? Like, they're doing books and seminars and like positioning yourself as an expert. And that's like a big piece of this. Which is really, really cool. And I think anybody who's got any kind of talent or specialized knowledge or something they're passionate about can do that kind of business. And you can make great money, you can serve people. But I know there's a lot of people that come to my world that are like, well, Russell, I don't want to do that. Like, I own a software company or supplement company, or I'm a chiropractor, or whatever those things might be. And it's interesting, like when I launched our software company, ClickFunnels, like it's a boring software company, and we're competing against other boring software companies. And but I was able to take all these principles we teach in here and kind of attach like a person to a software company. And we took it from no members to right now. Actually, today we passed 40,000 active members inside of ClickFunnels. I think one of the fastest growing non-VC backed startups in the world. And it's because these principles, like you take it and it takes any kind of business and lights it on fire. In fact, I've got a friend who's a financial planner, and there's how many financial planners in Boise, Idaho, where I'm at? There's 1,000 of them here. But people come and they will fly over like 30 states to get to him. They'll pay him 10 times more, and he does the exact same thing because he's positioned himself as this expert. And we understand that it's like, man, like you can charge more. You're no longer a commodity. People will come to you. You can serve people at a higher level. Like, so many cool things come when you understand how to wrap these principles into any type of business. It doesn't just have to be an expert business.
Yeah. And I think, positioning as an expert, one of the things I love about what you do is you make sure the person is an expert. So tell me, what's the pattern that you started to discover? You talk about this in the book, that, every mass movement really starts with, I think it was 3 patterns, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. It's cool because when I was creating this book, and I'm just like you, like I learned this from you, I model everyone, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm building a software company. Who do I model? Who are the best out there? And I was looking at everything. Initially started with business. I look at like Apple and Steve Jobs. I'm like, what did he do? And then I started looking at like Tesla and Elon Musk. And then I started taking a step back and I looked at politics and like what are the people that are winning doing versus the people that are losing? And then took another step back and I started studying everything from the really negative, like cults and how do they work, and then religion and everything in between. And it was cool. As I was going deep in the study, and I know you've done this before, you're going through stuff, and all of a sudden, like I started seeing this weird pattern. I was in a point of immersion where I was like, for 3 or 4 weeks, just geeking out. And what was cool is as soon as I identified the pattern, then I started looking at our company. I was like, okay, we're doing parts of this, or maybe 1 or 2 things, but now that I know it, how can we amplify it? What are the things we can do to make it better? And so we started doing all those pieces, and then and we test them, and then we'd see what would happen. So the book's kind of cool because it gives you, and I'll show you in a second, it shows you the strategy. Here's the 3 things they all have, but then it shows, here's the practical application that what we did inside ClickFunnels. We did these 4 things, and that's what got us from 20,000 members to 30,000 within like a 3-month period of time. Like, what are those things? And so I'll show you guys. In my books, I'm a big doodler because that's how my brain works. But there's tons of sketches. So, like, this is a sketch from this. So this right here, this are the 3 things that every mass movement from the beginning of time all has had. I'll kind of go them through real quickly. Number 1 is all of them have some type of charismatic leader. And that's a big thing because it's hard to connect with just a brand. Longer term, you can do that, but initially, especially, like, it's a person that you connect with that gets you to want to follow. The number 2 thing in the pattern is all of them had like a future-based cause that they were taking people towards. And one of the coolest ways I found, I talk about this, I went through all the U.S. elections from the one that just happened all the way back to like George Bush, all the way back to George Washington. And what's interesting is I was able to find most of the campaign slogans on both the sides, like Republican or Democrat. And it didn't matter who won, what party, whatever, but the ones that won, all the candidates had like a very future-based cause. Think about Trump was, let's make America great again. And all the people that lost had a very present-based cause. Like Hillary had, I think hers, the 2 or 3 slogans I found hers like, I'm with her, and like very present-based things. You look back when Obama won, Obama was all about change, and Bush was. And then like, it's interesting. And so I started realizing that. And so inside of our big mass movement we were trying to create, I realized like we need a future-based cause. Like what is that? So we created one, and then we figured out how to amplify it, and we show all the examples of how we've done that. And that gets people to want to come with you. And then the third thing, and this is probably the least understood, but I think the most important, is every mass movement the leader offered their people a new opportunity, which is they didn't come and try to just help people become better, but they were like, look, this is a new opportunity. I wanted to. How would you
define? So a lot of people don't make that. I know it sounds simple, but how do you define a new opportunity in your mind?
Yeah, so
so many people take something that currently exists and they convert it into seemingly a new opportunity. I'm just curious, what's your definition is?
So for me, I look at like whatever customer we're trying to serve, right? They're coming to us and they want a result. So this is the result I want to get over here. And usually we're not the first person they came to. Like usually they've been trying to get this result for a while, and they're in some vehicle, and I like visualize it as a vehicle. They're in a car, they're in a vehicle, they're driving to get that result. And so what most people do in business is they come and they sell what I call an improvement offer. So they'll come and like, oh, that vehicle you're in. Well, it's like, let me step back. So an example, let's say you're in a weight loss. Let's say you want to lose weight. So the vehicle that you might be in, let's say it's the Atkins diet, or it could be whatever diet, right? And that's the vehicle, and they're in that thing. And so an improvement offer is coming back, and what most people do is like, hey, you're in this thing, I'm gonna make that experience better for you, and we're gonna whatever, they try to make it better. But the hard thing is that someone knows what that experience is like. They're in this vehicle trying to get the result, and if they're not happy, like they're not happiness. No matter how hard we try to make that process better, it's gonna be, you're always gonna have tons of friction. Whereas if I come and say, look,
they're going to compare you to them even if you're different.
Yeah, exactly. So if I can come and I can create an actual new opportunity and say, look, get out of that vehicle you're in, getting that result. Come over to this vehicle. It's completely different. It's a new opportunity. This is what's going to take you over here. That's how it causes these huge changes. One of my favorites, a friend you and I both have, Dave Asprey. He came in with his movement. And he's like, look, you're going to eat high fat, put butter in your coffee, all sorts of things. And people are like, what in the world? You would have heard that
description before. You told him he was nuts. The marketing did on that was so genius.
Oh, so brilliant. And everyone's jumping from their vehicles coming to here because it's like, I don't know what they're doing, but that sounds way better. And they come over, and he's built a huge mass movement, huge company, supplement company, retail stores, like everything based on this new opportunity he provided people, and it was brilliant, as you know. Hey, this is Russell again. Thank you so much for watching part 2 of my interview with Tony Robbins. How crazy is that Tony interviewed me? Like, still can't even imagine and believe that this is like my life. It's so exciting. So with that said, video number 3 is dropping in a couple days from now. I do not want you to miss it. So this is what you have to do. Number 1, subscribe to my channel. That way you get notified when all the videos come through. But number 2, you have to click on the bell and get notifications. If you aren't getting notifications, you're not going to know when this video comes out. Okay, so subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications. That's what you need to do right now, and that way you'll get video number 3 when it drops. And you're going to want video number 3 because video number 3 we talk about my favorite part of the Expert Secrets book, which is the concept of epiphany bridge stories. Like, if nothing else, everything you're going to learn in these interviews and in this book, that is the most important part, is the epiphany bridge stories you're going to be learning about during the third part of this interview. And with that said, if you don't have your copy of your Expert Secrets book, like, what are you waiting for? They're free. You literally just pay for the shipping and handling, and I send it to you for free. So somewhere on the screen there'll be a link to it. Click on it, get your book, and then make sure you are ready for video number 3, because this is the best part of the entire interview with Tony and me, going to Epiphany Bridge stories. Do not miss it. With that said, I will see you guys in a couple days on the 3rd and final video in the series.